Anita Gilani and Sarah Hickling, and we decided to do food labeling in Canada. Our topic overview is legal requirements for food labeling and impacts of these requirements on businesses. We chose this topic because Sarah has food allergies and I myself have food allergies, and also I have religious food restrictions. So the questions and issues that we would like to address are: what food labeling requirements exist to date in Canada? Who do these requirements apply to? Is there a governing administrative body that regulates food labeling? What kind of penalties exist for companies who violate these rules? Are there different labeling requirements for different foods? And what kind of implications do these requirements or statutes have on businesses?
So in terms of our research that we have done to date, we basically mostly use this source. So this is a Government of Canada source, and on it has statutes, and so that's why we designated it as a primary source. Mostly from this source, we found out that the Canadian Food Inspection Agency administers and enforces the following acts. We thought this was really interesting because basically it's in charge of food from when it's grown to when it hits consumers. So another thing from this source is we found out what the multiple purposes of food labeling were. To help customers make informed decisions. It's basically a form of communication from the companies to customers so they know what they're eating. It helps reduce misrepresentation of products, and it lets people know about the food sensitivities, allergies, and religious restrictions that might have to do with their food. Another thing we found out is that Health Canada creates standards under the FDA, and then the Canadian Food Inspection Agency enforces these standards.
So the primary research for us was the Foods and Drugs Act. We found out a lot of what is applicable and not applicable, what is allowed, not allowed under this act. The primary legislation governing the safety and nutritional quality of food in Canada, businesses are not required to disclose their confidential business information, which can give them competitive advantage. The information is not permitted, importation is not permitted. An inspector has the right to accept or decline food, drug, cosmetic, or device from entering the country, and the person has the right to forfeit the items. If the person forfeits the items, they also have to incur the expenses that go in with forfeiting the items.
So again, from the Government of Canada source, we also found a list of labeling requirements that are mandatory for all food items. So as you can see, bilingual labeling, common name, country of origin, storage requirements, principal place of business, irradiated foods, location, ingredient and allergen list, quantity, nutrition labeling, sweeteners, additives, fortification, grades, and standards of identity. So another source we found, this was secondary, basically it was just this website that kind of laid out for consumers who the regulators were. So Health Canada, we found out from this source, is another regulator of food labeling, and in particular they handle allergen and nutrition labeling.
So for the future, we would like to research more on the actual consumer packaging and labeling acts, what is actually required within the packaging and labeling. So we want to delve deeper into the exact requirements and laws, an in-depth analysis of statutes, and also for companies, how do they audit the companies itself when they claim that they have special labels such as organic, halal, gluten-free, and those type of labels. For the ongoing controversies, companies' perspectives on what labeling should be required, and also not only companies but activists that want specific labels to be put on. And that's our references. Thank you so much.
Thank you.